Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to the latest Exitech webinar here with our partners, Ideate. And today we're going to take a look at what's new in Ideate Sticky. So just a very brief presentation from myself. My name's Jonathan. I'm Technology Manager here at Exitech. I'm joined by Richard, who I will introduce shortly from Ideate. And just a little bit about Exitech. We are all about partnerships that stand the test of time. So we're in partnership with Ideate. We are one of their distributors and resellers for their products, and we're going to do a little webinar today.
Thank you very much for having me. Again, my name is Richard Taylor with Ideate Software. And Ideate Software creates 5 add-on solutions to Revit. As you see there on the screen, Ideate BIM Link, Ideate Explorer, Ideate Sticky, Ideate Apps, and Ideate Style Manager. And over the course of the summer, and we're actually going to be continuing this into the fall, we've had a webinar series with Exitech where we've been highlighting different workflows and different specific products. So today we're going to be focusing on Ideate Sticky. We updated Ideate Sticky in May 2020. And so just to, as a reference point here, the down below in red, you see the last versions that were updated in May. If you're a current Ideate Sticky customer, you can go to the pull-down menu by the help, and then you can see that there's a check for updates, and you can see what version you have installed, and if you need to install the latest version. Because we certainly, when we do support, a lot of times we'll end up with someone asking a question, and then we realize that they're actually 2 versions or 3 versions behind. So it's always good to be on the latest software. So Ideate Sticky allows you to live link Excel, Word, and PDF into your Revit projects and keep them up to date, so that they are live links. So if the information changes out in Word or Excel or PDF, it's going to update within your project. And Ideate Sticky's been around for about 5 years, but specifically it was dealing only with Excel. And so the big new feature that we've added is the addition of Word and PDF and our ability to link information into the Revit project. So, of course, this has been a high request for Revit users, being able to link not only Excel, but be able to link in Word and PDF documents. So I think the best thing is just take a look at this. So I'm going to switch over here to Revit. Today, I'm using Revit 2021.1, I think is the latest version. But again, if you have earlier versions, it will work. If you're on 2018, 19, 20, or 21, it's the same. So, if you look at the ribbon panel, all of our Ideate software solutions are available under Ideate software, and I have all of them loaded. So you saw me talking earlier about BIM Link Explorer, Style Manager, and then our Ideate Apps collection, which are these 9 tools here. So Sticky, as I mentioned, allows you to link in a document. So it's very similar to inserting another Revit file or maybe inserting a CAD file in the way that the dialog works. So if I go and access Ideate Sticky, the dialog appears, and it shows me that I actually have a number of sticky schedules already part of this project. And in fact, what I've done here is in the upper right here, there's a couple schedules that are coming. Actually, one of them is coming directly from the project. Another one is coming from Sticky or from Excel. And you can see that this is this Philips Hadco brand or product line. And in this case, it is coming from BIM 360. So the path or the file is called Philips Lighting Spec, and it's on BIM 360. So we have the ability to have a path type, either an absolute, in this case, it's my hard disk. So if you see here, it's actually down here, the folder is C:, Ideate software, training, presentations, samples, right? Or it could be relative to the project, or in this case, it could be cloud. If I select on this, you actually see that the status is BIM 360 disk. And then another thing that's interesting that we've added recently is it also tells you which sheets it's on. So this one is a revision list. It's only on sheet Z.8, the revision schedule. But this one here is actually on two sheets, finishes as well as schedules and data. So it's really nice to be able to see exactly where that is. So the way that this works is basically I can say create, I want to insert a new one. So the source here is where I would navigate. Now, by default, it's going to go to my samples directory. And I just want to make sure that I have that's training presentations, then my samples. Let's go down to the panel schedule. Now, again, what you're doing is you're linking in Excel information. So this is what we call non-BIM data. It could be consultants lists, or it could be general notes, or it could be manufacturing data as an example. So it's not going to impact your elements for the model. Like I said, it's really sort of being able to display this information. So if I look at this panel schedule, I'm going to say, I want to open that, and I've got a couple different worksheets. There's a black and white version, and then there's this non-BIM panel schedule. Again, this is an example, so we just called it non-BIM. And I can specify if there are multiple worksheet regions. Maybe someone has defined a series of cells that's going to be a worksheet region. In this case, it's just the print area. I can really give it any name I want if I don't want to have it be sticky, but I want to have it say UK consultant, non-BIM panel schedule. That's fine. So I select OK, and that will link to the current sheet that I'm in. So here you see now I've just brought in that sample branch panel, Excel file. So you'll basically see that, like I said, all the information is there. And if I double click, it's actually a schedule. In this particular way, the way that I brought it in was as what we're calling a sticky schedule. It's using a schedule header in Revit to be able to display that information. And because it is a schedule, I'm going to come over here now to my sheets, and let's come over down to sheets here. And I've got this sheet called schedules and data, and I'm going to open that as well. So you can see that there's that other Phillips Hadco that's on this second sheet as well. Then I'm going to go back up to the schedules, right? And here's our UK consultant non-BIM panel schedule, and drag and drop that because schedules can be placed on multiple sheets. So I'm just going to place this here. Okay, so now we've got that on a couple different sheets. What I'm also going to do now is come back over here to Sticky and show you our new way of allowing you to link data. So this is Excel. We notice that there's a tab here called Schedules. If you want to link it as an image, you can come over here now to this tab. I'm going to say Create. And in this case, I need to navigate to that same location, which is, let's say, over here. We'll come up here to one more. And Ideate Software, my training presentations, and what's new in Ideate Sticky, samples, and we'll go down here to the panel schedule. There's panel, and say open. So notice it's giving me very similar information in the sense that we have the different worksheets. Remember, I was able to choose the black and white or the non-BIM panel schedule. I'm going to keep the same one, the non-BIM panel schedule here. It gives me a preview, but what it's doing here is instead of converting it to a Revit schedule header, it's actually going to show it as an image instead. So now, when I say close here so you can see it, we have it as an image. And so you can see that the two are pretty similar. If I zoom up here, or maybe move that up just a little bit. So the left one is the image, the right one is the actual schedule. And the reason that we did this, or giving you two options, is that there were times where, we're fitting into the paradigm of the Revit schedule. So we're making an Excel spreadsheet fit into the requirements or the constraints of a Revit schedule. And there were times where just the columns, the size, depending on the word wrap, depending on the sort of the formulas and things that were done, that it wasn't always exact. We tried for almost 100% fidelity, visual fidelity, but there were always sometimes little tweaks that were difficult to sort of work out. But now with the image, we have 100% visual fidelity. Now, what's interesting about this is let's go to the Excel, the sort of data itself, right? So here's this panel schedule. I'm on the samples directory. I'm going to double click and go to the actual Excel file itself, right? So here we are on our non-BIM panel schedule. We have the black and white version, right? And then this one is here. So over here, I'm going to make some changes. I'll say UK project sample panel. How's that? And maybe for this, I'll just show you some information here. I'm going to change the cell color to like a light blue or something. So I just made a couple changes basically, right? I'm going to hit save. So all I did was change the text and I changed some of the cell colors. Now I'm going to switch back over here to Revit. It doesn't immediately change the same way it wouldn't change if it was an AutoCAD file or if it was a Revit file. But when we go to Sticky, and we're in our, let's say start with schedules, notice it says out of date. So the status, all these are current, but this one, based on the timestamp, is out of date. So what I can do, there's a couple different things. I can come over here and I can just say update, right? So you're going to see if I come over here and just say update, it's going to go get the latest and greatest. And I guess that one that was over to the right. So there you see it updated the UK project sample project and it made it blue. Now, the other thing I can do, I'm going to update this one as well, but I can also click this little, tick this auto update. Auto update, when that is ticked on, first off, it's going to go get the latest and greatest again, right? So it updates the information. So it updated that image. But when auto update is ticked, then when I close the project and save it, the next time that I open up the project, if there are any sticky schedules, either sticky schedules or sticky images that have that auto update ticked, it's going to make sure that it updates those and has the latest and greatest. So that's really nice to be able to see that. And so you'll notice that again, this was the schedule on the right and the image on the left. So it's updated that image. You didn't have to worry about it. You didn't have to relink it or anything. It just did it for you in the background. So I'm going to move that over here to lower. I'm going to bring that over just a little bit. And I'm going to show you how, let's say we wanted to do some Word and PDF. So again, we're going to go back over to Sticky. So I'm on the Word, PDF, and Excel images. So Excel has the option to do either schedules or images, but Word and PDF, is sort of exclusive to just the images. So if I say create, notice it gives me the selection of maybe coming over here to a Word document, specifications. I'm going to say open. And in this case, there are 7 pages to this document. So I could go and say, well, you know what? I want all 7 pages, or maybe I only want 1-3, or you can do 1, 5, 8. And then you can specify the dots per inch. We've found that 300 is a pretty good resolution for printing and making sure that, again, it's very, very clear, but you can beef that up to 600 if you so desire. And of course, the dots per inch, the greater that dots per inch, the more or the larger that image is going to be. And I'm going to talk about that in a second. So let's say OK. And what it's going to do now is bring in those 3 Word documents. And you see each one, page 2, page 3. And if, again, I say close over here, you see there along the top, I can grab all of those and bring those down here to my documents, or to my page, I should say. So now, again, if I make any changes in those documents, those are going to be updated automatically. And then finally, if I come over here to Sticky, I'll show you an example of PDF. So let's say create and we're going to do this vent detail for metric. So that's why the M is here. And so I'm going to bring in, here, it could be a floor plan, it could be a detail. Like I said, anything you have within PDF. I've worked with even documents where they're showing lots of images and so forth, and those all come in very nicely. So let's say OK. And you'll notice that the source file over here, there's a different icon, whether it's a PDF document, an Excel document, or a Word document. So now I say close. There it is up there, and I can bring that down here. And so now you have this collection of Word information. This one was an Excel image. This was an Excel schedule. This was a PDF image. And again, this was an Excel schedule. And if you're using the schedule, we have supported images for quite a while. So if you have images within the actual Excel worksheet, those will be brought in as in both scenarios, whether you're using an image or whether you're using a schedule. Also, I wanted to point out here that if we go to our Explorer and you do have Ideate Explorer, what I'm going to do is look at the active view here. And it's going to look at, notice that it has raster images. And we're actually sort of identifying those as Ideate Sticky images. So there's a vent detail, that's a PDF. There's the panel schedule, and then there's the 3 documents that are the Word documents. So yes, they're images, but we are specifically putting some data on it so that we know that it's an Ideate Sticky image as opposed to a different type of image that you may have brought in or to your Revit project. And then notice that there's also the schedule here, which is our Philips Hadco schedule, and our UK BIM non-BIM panel schedule is also part of this information. So just to give you kind of a background of some of the information going on here. So I want to switch back over to the presentation and just talk a couple other new features that we've implemented. In the past, you were able only to select one sticky at a time and update it. Well, now you can do a multi, like using Control, the normal Windows functions, or Shift Select to select a whole series of stickies in the dialog and be able to update that so that you can do the update from, or you can repath to a new folder, or you can specify, like I said, a relative path or change the DPI if you're working with images. So it's much easier if you're doing operations on multiple lines or multiple schedules to be able to make that happen. And then you saw that in the panel schedule, we had a couple worksheets. There was a black and white, and then there was a color or just a normal non-BIM panel schedule. Well, we've implemented that there's an Excel feature that when you go to print, you'll see in the print dialog and setup, there's a tick mark for black and white. So we're now respecting that. And if you have that ticked for that page setup, everything will just print black and white and won't have any colors. So again, that's a nice new feature. And then again, just some quotes here. And I wanted to talk a little bit about the differences between schedules and images. So this is a good sort of slide here, because on the left, it shows that image down below that says tasks, and this is from Excel. And you might have a chart. Well, in the past, like we said, we were only able to bring in with the Excel schedules just the actual tabular data, right? So in this case, tasks and milestones. But if there were charts, pie charts, graphs, things like that that were part of that, those were just ignored. Now, with the images, that can be brought in and displayed as an image as well. So there's a greater support for that visual fidelity. And here's what I kind of referenced earlier, is that you might say to yourself, well, gee, where should I use a sticky schedule or should I use a sticky image? And I will say that there are positives and negatives of both. So you want to make sure that you're reviewing what you need for your specific workflow. So with sticky schedules, they're only supported on sheets, as you see there, about the fourth one down. But sticky images, because it's an image, they are supported on more different types of views. So sheets, plans, drafting views, legends, detail views. The big thing that sticky images doesn't allow you to do is search for the text. So, with a sticky schedule, it's actually text. So if you need to search and replace, you can do that. With sticky images, you always need to go back to the source document if you want to make a change to the text, for instance. And then there's this, like I said, size issue. It's really fairly slight. We did a lot of testing with different customers about, if they have hundreds of these images, is that going to really impact the size of the model? And certainly a sticky schedule is much lighter and much smaller, as you see there, 0.004 on average, where the sticky image is, on average 0.036 megabyte. So, it does take more, I shouldn't say take more space, but it would impact the overall size of your project. So that may be a factor. It may not be a factor, but it is something to be aware of. And this chart that you see on the screen here is available within our help document. So I wanted to show you that there's some additional resources. What you just saw there, that's the first link. So if you do just search, you can actually just say, or type into Google, sticky schedule versus sticky images, and you'll get that help link. Also, we've done a blog where our director of software development, Glynis Patterson, has created a nice blog. You see there, not too long ago, on June 26th, where she talks about sort of both the pros and the cons of whether you want to choose a sticky schedule versus a sticky image. So I just wanted to put those both up there and have that be reviewed. And by the way, if you go back to the website, just to show you, you can go over here to up to the top of the website, go to our blog, and you can, once you select on the blog, you can search on a particular solution. So if you just say, I want those blog articles that are specific to Ideate Sticky, you can click on Ideate Sticky, and then you can quickly go down here and you can see that the choice is yours, sticky schedules versus sticky images. So that's a nice kind of quick way to find that particular article if you don't want to remember all that long text. So you can always go to our website to learn more. Like I said, we have a lot of online videos and help information and getting started guides, as well as events like this, online webinars with both ourselves as well as our partners around the world. You can download a 2-week or 14-day trial of Ideate Sticky. It is a full function trial, so there's no restrictions on Ideate Sticky, and so that you can actually test it for yourself if you're not an Ideate Sticky customer or user, and see how it works for you. And you can see that you can download. Basically, it will automatically download the bundle, and then you can choose which particular version you want to install. So what I'd like to do is pass it back over to Jonathan, or see if there are any questions that came up.
Thank you very much, Richard. So yeah, that's pretty much it. Thank you very much for everyone that's there. We hopefully will see you all again next month. So I'm going to say goodbye from me. Richard, I'll let you say goodbyes, and we're good to go.
Everyone have a very nice day. And if you're going on holiday soon, which it seems like a lot of the UK is doing at the end of August and beginning of September, I hope everyone has a nice time.
Okay. Thank you very much, guys.